believe at a very early stage, which is Dolly Bell, I discovered all these elements, especially what does it mean to create a hero or anti-hero? What does it mean, how to put him in between the events of a life that create the progression, that create his reaction to the life, especially at his age, which is a teenage, when he started, as I said, stepping into the life. Cinema today is absolutely disconnected from for the unity of psychological, sociological, political, and historical aspect of human life. History you don't see anymore in the Anglo-Saxon cinema, except if it's not specialized to show some dramatic events, which are not answering the questions, because the consumer's universe is designed to make people not to ask questions, to consume. In these societies, in this life of today, people don't ask questions, so the heroes do not impose questions. Therefore, the heroes are not exposed to the possibility to ask questions. In my cinema, or in cinema of, even American cinema of 70s, all this was present. And what happened? Could we believe that in 20 years people stopped asking questions? People are not interested into this? That's bullshit. It's just another propaganda design. And Dolly Bell is the first step that I did in this world, in which all these questions are involved. Because sexuality without politics does not have a strength. It's become just sexuality. And going like this, we are going to bring all to pornography of all kinds. Pornography of fucking men and women, or homosexuality, whatever, in which everything will be so specialized that the world cannot be watched anymore by the eyes of human who could synthesize the human experiences. And this world is becoming very dangerous like this, because no hero, no reaction, no question, which means that the future it will be no more human impact into, but alienation up to the final stage, which is video game. And when you start arguing with somebody, the video game is empty-headed, nothing, wasting time, you might risk not to be correct, because video game is also something. But the tendency to turn everything into the video game is very dangerous. I am absolutely affected by a cinema. American cinema, for me, is one of the two greatest sources of inspirations. Why? Because American cinema was, since the market of and the way that they were thinking was given, they were giving us the lesson how to be more economic in the expressions. So if you look Živojin Pavlovich movies, you could find the source of Bresson, French great director, who was dealing with life of no events. Even if they happened, he was trying to be distant and to be like very much minimizing the impact of this kind of strong signals of life. But he was doing it very economically, like people you mentioned, like American cinema of 60s and 70s. But American cinema for me is much more important in a different way. I was affected by American cinema and even Hollywood in 40s and 50s as a place that was bringing the life to the idealistic level. I think Hollywood in the history of art of 20th century is a very important place, because it was bringing, as they call, a cinema being much bigger than life. So when they had the material to be idealistic, they projected, even through the American dream, or through the many aspects of a life of America that was bringing this idealism up to your eyes. And I think this is the greatest time of this 20th century, one of the greatest peaks of art. As much as they were idealistic in this period, that much they are out of ideas today, except the idea of bringing money to their pockets and minimizing the chances of interactive world in between the viewer, what I call consumer. And this brings the idea of market becoming like a market iberalis. It's like a specially designed fascism that kills every aspect of life down there, in which the habit to bring 100 people and to watch preview of the movie, and if they put many cards being against or not, the movie is dead. So like this, cinema has no chance to be like cinema you mentioned from 60s, 70s, 40s, 30s, in which there were still big chances for movie to be great and to fail. Every movie that goes out today almost has to at least to be average successful movie. In order to do this, you know, it's not just that you do the card things like they do in the studios. It's very often it's like when you have to be like in the communist period in ex-Yugoslavia, when a writer was writing a book and he brings 50 pages to the community and people come and he reads and they say, okay, 50 pages. And then on the page 10, somebody says, you are not correct, it's not good. And then the writer goes home, he corrects everything, he brings back, and they approve it. One reason was ideological, and the other one is market. So they meet. There's no great difference. So to make a point, American cinema of 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whoever says that this was not good or important, he is an idiot, because this is the fundament, one of the two fundaments of the world of cinema, including Hollywood as a central place of the 20th century art. But everything what I say about Hollywood up till 70s, I say absolutely contrary today. So not just Rika Pavlovich, we all learn from them million things. From the social criticism to the individual existential position of the hero. How does he react? Which way they do it? It was just the greatest period. As much as it's empty and helplessly stupid today. It's very naive belief of mine that everybody could become an actor. I like so much to be thrilled in the end that I have my faces that are so unusual, that are so much coming from the life, that it's just being stubborn and believe that everybody who you see on the street, you could turn him into the actor or actresses. And I did it because step by step I was doing my movies so long that the casting that I did before was always proved by the length of shooting that anybody who is charming or one way or another is photogenic or whatever could become an actor. Because if you have to do the movie 1 year, 14 months, every single small-time criminal or a big or small-time or medium-time prostitute or whoever you find interesting, when he spends the time in the long period, he could turn into the great actor, especially in cinema, because cinema is very much selectively operating with the space. Different lenses, different distance, and the people who learn and who start enjoying and who could be much more spontaneous at a certain level than professional actors. And then your world is becoming even more circus-like, attractive and interesting. You know, if you turn all this area into Sarajevo, this is very similar to geography like Sarajevo. You could have, in this valley, you could make 300,000 people city if you want. From when you enter the valley, when you come down from the top tunnel, and if you continue to the border with Bosnia, you could find another Sarajevo. So it's all developed in the hills, in the valley, and in the hills, in the boat. And if I was, you know, I was always asking why people of Sarajevo always walking like this, because there is no perspective. They have to look for the ray of hope that is behind the mountain. And one could think it's a holy city, but it's not. And there was a mixture of all ingredients of ex-Yugoslavia in the city. So this was beautiful material to create your cinema, to create your novels, to create art, because not just by the ethnic differences and national differences, but also by the certain egalitarian way of communicating with the other people. It was very good and very funny what you could find over there. But if you're speaking about space, nothing to do with Sarajevo except this way to look for the hope behind the hill. New York is a center of the world, like Paris used to be. But the idea of Sarajevo in the space is very much connected to the way that you have to look up, basically coming to the clear idea of what the space, what is the definition of the space and the time. But I'm speaking about the space and time because I think this is, if you want to express your inner spiritual content, you have to go outside with this. But how to go outside with this? How to create the world in front of your lens that people have to feel and recognize, and this is very difficult, and this is very, very long process of learning. That's why I said it has to do much more with watching movies, watching Renoir, watching Lubitsch, watching fantastic directors who have defined the space. Because once you choose one lens, not the other, the space becomes absolutely different than in reality. The question is how you continue expressing your inner spiritual content by different lenses, by different movements. It's something that you have to control and make it organic. And it's really a top secret of every director. Not today, because today space is changed and the question of time and space are changed for the question of dynamism. Because today the only thing is how to have an intriguing conflict that is going to be treated very quickly, which is not a question of quality of cinema, it's a question of dynamic qualities of cinema.